everyone, Teacher Angela here with our third video in the series of getting hired at VIPKID. So the first video sort of went over the process. The second video went over the technical things that you need to have in place before you even think about setting up your mock class and so on and so forth. So videos 3 through 8 are going to go over some techniques that you should be using in the classroom. So this is Getting Hired video number 3, and we are going to talk about number 1, establishing rapport, and number 2, TPR. What is it? Well, there's 2 types, so I'll break down each one of those for you momentarily. Okay, so part 1. Rapport. You have to build a really good rapport with your students. You need to understand that, especially with the little ones that really don't quite understand what's happening, they're kind of scared because, number 1, think about it like this. We look very different than they do. We sound very different than they do. We're talking to them, we're in a computer, it's just very weird. They don't really understand what's going on. Typically, the older kids are not like freaked out or scared, but maybe, you never know. But usually it's the younger ones that are. But when you come into the classroom, you always want to be smiling and cheery and happy. Hello. Don't try to be like, hi, it's scary. Okay. Have energy, but don't be scary energy. Be peppy, happy energy. If they're very little, I have all kinds of stuffed animals around. Hi. Sometimes moving your face out of the way for just a few seconds, not minutes, for a few seconds, and letting them focus on something else. And it could be a teddy bear, it could be Peppa Pig, it could be a panda, it could be my rabbit or my tiger or whatever. They like all those things. It gives them just a second to focus on something else, and they're just a little bit more relaxed. Okay, so the little ones might need something like that. Hi. I sometimes do like this. Hi. Because it just makes them feel less intimidated. It's just like if you walk up to a 3 or 4-year-old and you're standing and towering over them, it's scary. And so you should always kneel down and sort of get on their level and talk to them. It's sort of like that. So get them to say hi. The moms are always present with the little ones. I've never had a really small one where the mother wasn't there. Sometimes the dad, but it's almost always a parent is there. And so you want to make sure that you say hello, get them to say hello back if you can, and then you introduce yourself. My name is Angela. Go slow. Don't go fast, go slow. Angela. Angela. Hi. All right, they'll say hi. They might repeat your name back. They don't need to repeat your name back. They don't have to, but it's okay if they do. I'm just trying to get them to understand that I am Angela and I want to know who they are. So they'll say, what is your name? And wait. The older kids will say their name. The younger kids, they might give you their name, but the mom is usually right there and they're prompting them and they're going to tell them whatever to say for their name, and they'll give you their name. Whether they give you a complete sentence or a one-word answer, it doesn't matter in terms of, hi, hi. Let's say they said their name was Alice. Hi, Alice. You always are just very happy to meet them. Now, if they did give you that one-word answer, it is now time to correct it. So if they say Alice, you say, hi, Alice. Okay. My name is Alice. Now, if they struggle with that and they still can't do that because it's just too hard for them, then go one word at a time. My name is Alice. Yay! If they are really, really, really young or lacking in ability, then you might have to go word for word, and that's okay. So definitely make sure you try to let them understand that they're going to have to respond in complete sentences all the time. And so don't forget to correct that. And then you need to ask them some other question. Are you ready is not a question that you want to ask them because it's not rapport building. So you need to ask them something like, how are you? Or how old are you? Now, The older kids will be able to answer that without too much difficulty. The younger kids, be aware that there is only a one-word difference between those two questions. How are you? How old are you? One word difference. So they're going to get it mixed up. And so sometimes, not always. And so when they do, you know, if they are speaking to you and they are responding, even if it's to the wrong question, or even if it is an incomplete sentence, or it's just whatever, if they are talking to you, that is a moment to celebrate because they are actually communicating with us, and that is excellent, instead of the kids just sitting there not saying anything. So yay! Then correct it. Correct the question if they gave you the wrong answer, or, you know, if you said how are you and they said 5, good. I am 5. Correct that incomplete sentence. And then ask them, how are you? TPR. We're going to talk about that. You can use TPR. You can use props. You can use all kinds of things to elicit the proper response. Happy, sad, you know, something like that. And you can model it for them. Say, I am happy, or I am fine. You know, however you want them to respond, show them how to do it first, always. So model everything for them, correct mistakes that they make, use TPR, use props, things to help them relax, like a teddy bear or something like that. Maybe if you kind of need to make yourself a little bit smaller when you first start, that's also okay. Don't be all up in their face because that's scary, especially to the little kids. So ask 2 questions. One of them is the name and another rapport building question. Now, if it is a much older student and you know you feel like they are already showing you that they speak English very, very well, and you want to ask them something different, then that's fine. You know, how was school today? You know, that's totally okay. That's fine. You know, that's fine. But with the little ones, for sure, just stick to what they know, which is how are you and how old are you? And when I say that's what they know, that's in their prior knowledge, which means it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be 100% proficient at it. It just means that it's something that they should kind of be prepared for. All right? Then, that's it. Move on to the next slide. Try to get off of that initial slide within a minute. If you want to introduce the lesson there, you can, but please don't teach the lesson on this slide. So let's say the lesson is the letter T, as in tiger. If I had the letter T, let's see if I have a T. If I had a letter T lesson, then I would have maybe a flashcard or something. And I would say, T. Have them repeat T. Good. That's it. I'm not going into the phonics. I'm not going into a big T and a small T. I'm not going into tracing a T. I'm not going into anything like that. I might just introduce the T, circle it on the screen, and then we're done and we're moving on. And that's it. So don't teach the lesson on the intro slide. Save that for the teaching slides. Okay. So that's it for part 1. Part 2, TPR. What the heck is that? That stands for total physical response. Total physical response. Now, when I first started, I guess I did struggle with TPR using it properly initially, but I actually caught on to it pretty fast because I talk with my hands anyway. So it was kind of easy to adapt it. So there's 2 types. There's instructional TPR, which we call instructional TPR, and there's educational TPR, which is TPR. Okay, so what is the difference? Instructional TPR is used to enhance your classroom. It's used, you can use it on every slide, you can use it on every lesson, and it doesn't necessarily need to be different. It could be things like you're trying to elicit a response from a student. So this is how you elicit a response. This is it. Eyeballs on the camera or on where you can see the kid, not over there. Here, because we need to be able to see what's going on. So much of our communication, especially with the little ones, is nonverbal. And so I need to see that they are at least understanding or participating in some way. So eyeballs on the camera, doesn't matter what else you've seen anywhere else because it's wrong if your eyes are over there. So look at the camera or at least with the, general area of your computer screen if you're trying to see the kid. But this is it. I'm trying to elicit a response from them. So if it's just I want them to repeat, I see a tiger. There you go. You don't need to say something along the lines of, will you repeat the following sentence after me? Whoa, don't do that. Okay, that's a whole nother video. That's called incidental language. Not necessary. Stick to the target sentence. I see a tiger. And wait. And you might get one word, you might get two words, you might get nothing. Say it again and get them to repeat after you. And so this is instructional TPR. This, where I count out the words on my fingers, is instructional TPR. Typically only for the beginner levels. I only use that for my upper level students if they are struggling. Other types of instructional TPR, if you want them, you could do repeat. Now do not do this at the same time, that's confusing. So repeat. However you're going to do it. Sometimes clapping out syllable sounds. Some people clap out the syllable sounds. Some people do other methods for teaching syllables and words. That's not a lower level student situation. That's a higher level student situation or an intermediate. So you can use this. If it's something you can use over and over and over again, then it's instructional TPR. And it's just a method in order for you to help enhance instruction in your classroom, but it's not specific to one particular thing. So that's instructional TPR. Now, educational TPR is so very important. This is another type that we use, and this is really to help teach vocabulary. And so if I'm stuck on the tiger today, so if I was teaching tiger, they had a picture of a tiger, the vocab word was tiger, and the target sentence was I see a tiger. Okay, so if I was doing that, then I would not just say tiger, tiger. No, I would tiger, 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 and try to get them to participate. And on the other side, you might just get tiger back. Try to get them to participate in it. This is the educational TPR. Tiger. Or, if you have a pig, that's on a lot of slides, and the pigs are really funny. You could do the pig. They love that. They think it's so funny. So do your educational TPR. The younger kids, the lower level beginner vocabulary is typically easier to do educational TPR than some of the vocab for the higher level students. But if it makes sense, do it. It just needs to be relatable. It needs to make sense. And it's just something that you can really use to enhance their learning of what's going on. The typical format in the class is going to be where the kids do some review and warm up. And then the kids are going to learn something new. Some new vocabulary words is typically like 2 or 3 slides, and then new target sentences. And then they're going to go do something else, like some phonics or some grammar or something along those lines. And then they're going to come back to that vocabulary and the target sentences that you taught earlier in the lesson. And we try to, it's not a quiz, but we're trying to see if they recall any of it. So they go into the land of you do, because we do, I do, we do, you do. So we try to do the you do. Well, you can use that educational TPR to help them. So if early on when you were teaching tiger, tiger, good, tiger, and you get them to do it and participate in it, and then you go on several slides later and it's, what do you see? The kid's like, use the educational TPR. And then see if they could come up with tiger. They might not come up with the whole sentence, and that's okay because you're going to correct that. But use the TPR, and that helps them. It helps them remember what's going on and for retention. Okay, so to recap, number 1, establish rapport. It's very important. 2 questions. 2 questions. Don't teach the slide. Be on and off that slide in a minute, okay, or less. All right, the second thing we did is TPR. Instructional TPR, enhance the classroom. You can use it all the time. Like I did this, see? What do you see? That's all instructional TPR. All right, and then there's the educational TPR. So that is something that is specific to a certain vocabulary word that makes sense to you and hopefully makes sense to the kid. Or something along those lines. All right, so use TPR, use it throughout, use it all the time. Be consistent with it. So don't change the TPR that you're using in the middle of the lesson. And that's it. So thank you very much for coming. Stick around. We'll have video number 4 coming up very, very soon. And good luck.